Welcome to the Passion Professors Podcast, hosted by Earth.University, where stories of life experience and purpose inspire and unite humanity. Here's your host, Lindsay Andreotti.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Facebook Live. I am Lindsay Andreotti, and I am with Earth.University. And today with me, I've got Zack Saionz, who is going to talk to us about Fork It. And Zack, I love everything about your brand, your message, your thoughts. You're a very creative and talented personal coach, trainer, nutritionist. You've just got all kinds of things going on. I just want to welcome you here today and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. Happy to be here.
Yay. Well, so tell us a little bit about you. So your name is Zack Saionz. I know you live in Philadelphia and you've been working as a coach. And just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came up with this notion of Fork It.
A little bit about me. So yeah, I've lived in the Philadelphia area my whole life, in the suburbs growing up, went to college at Earth.University, right on the outskirts of Philadelphia. And then now I live in the city. So big Philadelphia sports fan. But the reason how I came about Fork It, it wasn't really one moment that led me to Fork It. It was more just a period of events, just kind of on my own journey of finding optimal health and listening and learning from others. So I would say that I've always been super into sports, been playing sports my whole life. And then over time, throughout high school, throughout college, I was putting in a lot of time to become as good physically as I possibly could. But I was never satisfied enough with the results. And then post-college, I just started diving deeper into some podcasts. And before you know it, I started to build a personal environment of others around me who were not only giving me an example of what it was like to live optimally, but how that affected my emotions, my relationships, my physical appearance, my mental capacity. All of it just started to come together. And through me just doing all of that myself, I kind of developed Fork It as a method to share with others, to hopefully allow them to figure out how they can create an awareness in their life on maybe needs that they could work on and how that might up level their whole life.
I love that. I love it so much. I think it's just so cool that most of us don't even realize how much nutrition really makes a difference in our lives, not just in our physical health, but our mental health and our spiritual health too. So talk a little bit about, in your own experience, what did you discover were some of your unmet needs that were getting handled, if you will, by food? I think this is a common experience that people have. What did you learn?
So that's a great question, Lindsay. So I would say, I know that I just said that there was never a moment in time where I figured out that this is what I wanted to do. But I will say, when I was young, my family was involved in the Fresh Air Fund. So for those who aren't familiar with that, it's an organization that allows kids from 5 boroughs of New York City to come stay with the host family, and then they stay for a week, 2 weeks, and the whole point of the program is for them to come back every summer. Most of these kids are coming from some sort of background. It's allowing them to come to the suburbs of Philadelphia and just give them see something new. So my family did it for quite a long time, and our third kid that we hosted was the winner. So we still keep in touch with him, Daniel. But there was one summer, it was like the third or fourth summer. So we were all excited by like this time around, because we knew him. We would talk to him on the phone in the winter. We were super excited for him to come. And my family owns a pizza shop. So the first thing he did is my mom picked him up off the bus, and he got his favorite, stopped at the pizza place. He got his favorite pineapple pizza, crushed that. And then all of a sudden, before I even get to like say hi and like, what's up, like sit down with him at the table, there's a park behind our house, and it's got like a baseball field, basketball courts, big park. And he, no headphones, is just running around the baseball pass for like half hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And I think at one point, all 5 of my family members were just looking off our deck down to the baseball field, watching this young man. And I didn't think about that because I was only like 3 years old, and I was like 14. He was maybe 11. But it put into perspective how, wow, like he was just so happy in the moment doing something so simple. And that's always stuck out to me, because when I think about how nutrition affects me, it's just it's empowered me to take control of my own life and to go down a path that I really am that excites me, that makes me happy, that makes me just super excited about the day ahead. And so I was like, hey, whatever, something so simple for him, just running around the base pass, how can I make food so simple to allow others to experience the value of it, if that makes sense.
And the joy of it. I have personal experience with you. I actually was able to go visit Zack and his family in Philadelphia at one point, and I got to see how that family interacts around food. They have a restaurant, so that makes a lot of sense. And what I'm wondering, I also had another experience with you of finding a simple soup that just, when made, is a cleansing soup made from cabbage and other stuff. What I love is that your approach is really easy. You want it to feel, for the person who's on the receiving end, like, I could do that. I could really do that. So I'm going to set that aside, because I know that's a part of how you roll and what you do. Talk about your passion for high school and college, but high school in particular, athletes, and why you're kind of wanting them to get it too. What is simple? Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, and just so everyone who's listening has a better understanding and can follow along. The biggest thing that I've learned is it starts from the inside out. So that took me a long time to figure out, which is kind of how Fork is a slow development. So when I started to, and I'm still working on that myself, but when you start to put the pieces together from the inside out, the rest takes care of itself, depending on what your goals are. So in terms of my desire to help a specific demographic in the world, it goes back definitely to Daniel and seeing him and how he grew up. But throughout my whole life, I've always been super fascinated by. I've done a lot of work with trying to learn about food deserts. And so what I would like to do is I want to make it super easy. And right now it's not, it's very challenging, but to work with youth, teenage athletes, specifically living in urban communities where there might be food insecurity, and to give them just simple tips and just lifestyle tips, but put it in their hands about, hey, maybe these are small changes that I can make with what I have available to me, the resources I have around me, to take the small steps forward, whether that be losing weight or whatever. I mean, those are all goals that some, with health, that people think about. But how can I, the only thing that I would love for others is how can they create an awareness in their life to think about health from a variety of spheres. Mm-hmm. So it's not just from a physical standpoint, but how can they start to learn about health from, I guess, an overall well-being, human well-being.
Yeah. Feeling good from the inside out is so important, right? What are you seeing right now with teens? And what are you noticing are some of the patterns and trends that you'd like to jump in on?
I don't have the data right in front of me, mm-hmm. but every time that I hear something or I read something, it just kills, like the obesity rate, especially in youth now, is just off the charts. Mm-hmm. That was never the case before, and it's because majority of it is due to the processed foods that as a society we are consuming. So yeah. There's a ton of factors that play into it that we don't have to dive deep into it now, but in a lot of sense, these youth and not even youth, adults, they just don't know. It's not their fault. They're not educated about it, mm-hmm. About what to put in their body. And then, like, what you put in your body, the result's going to, it's going to be your result is based on what you put in your body. But it's not just food. There's a lot that goes into what putting in your body is.
Right.
Words, you receive words, feelings, like that all goes into your body. So there's a whole another level to it. But at the end of the day, that's really it. I mean, there's so many people trying to follow all these different diets, and they get caught up in all this criteria of trying to meet one single thing. And, there's certain, the keto diet, the they're all great in a sense. But at the end of the day, if you can just create a pathway for yourself where you're just eating whole foods, but you create an environment around you that encompasses everything.
Yeah.
You're never gonna have to follow a specific diet for a certain amount of days to get to a goal that you want. It's gonna just be, you're just gonna always be thriving, which is really good.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Fork It. What does that mean to you? And tell our audience what that, what they can do to fork it in their own life.
Absolutely. So Fork It stands for F is for food, O is outlook, R is reflection, and K is knowledge. So it's kind of a balance, exactly what this conversation has been about for, hey, what do I need to start doing to eat better? What do I need? How about my outlook? A lot of times is like if I'm going to have a conversation with someone, the first conversation that I want it to be about has nothing to do with food. I want to learn about, hey, what's bothering you? What are your goals? Tell me about yourself. What's going on in your life? Just let's dive a little bit deeper together, because this is a co-created plan. This is not me giving any instructions to you. It's us just kind of filtering through some needs that maybe someone's not aware of, and then giving them small, simple tools to just go get it themselves. So for food, it could be like, I'll just throw an example out there. Maybe someone's a little wary. They maybe want to lose some inflammation or like 10 pounds off the bat. Well, let's see what you're eating for breakfast. If you're eating a lot of foods that are going to just increase your glucose right off the bat and blood sugar, let's just see how we can fix that. And that's it. That's the only change we're going to make for that sort of time. And then we'll worry about the rest of the day.
Yeah. I found working with you too, that the outlook is such a critical component. It's everything. And I work with a lot of people too in the coaching arena, everything is dependent on your willingness, your mindset, your openness to changing a habit or doing something different. I tend to see people wanting to stay stuck in their ways because it's easy. It's a pattern, right? So the outlook, you really dive into that, and you address the mindset and the willingness of a participant to change the behavior that's causing the outcome they don't want. So I love that.
And motivation is action. That's the definition of motivation. But the R goes hand in hand with O, because another thing is there's a lot of people out there. I want it to be easy for someone, and it's not always the case. And there's a lot of other factors, and I might not be the person for this, but at least if I can just bring it to their attention, then I hope that I'm doing something good for them. Is reflection and looking into the past and allowing that to help pave the way for your future, and not discounting whatever happened to get you to whatever point you're in. Because if you can become comfortable with that, and that's a lot of, you'll hear others about doing meditation or yoga or anything with breathing techniques to kind of reflect on certain past moments of yours. It's incredibly important, because that's where your stress is all held up. If you're stressed, that's another thing. If you're stressed, don't even bring up anything about food to me. I'm not going to talk to you about it. We're just going to talk about ways to get you less stressed. And if work's causing stress, then all right, let's figure out that. If it's a relationship, or if it's family, or if it's just you're driving a lot, there's a ton of different factors. So you can't lose weight if you're stressed. You can't achieve any health goal if you're stressed.
No, you can't. Stress is the number one killer of at least folks in America, and I'm sure it is, becoming more global if it's not already. So Yeah, amazing. Well, Zack, this has been incredible, and I'm going to invite all of our listeners to find ways to fork it in their own lives, because honestly, it really does work to stay awake and aware about how what you're taking in is affecting your body, both your brain health, your physical health, your spiritual health, everything. It affects everything. So I just love it. So how can people work with you? How do they find you? Where should they go look?
So a website is in the works. It's coming up soon. So that will be definitely an avenue that people can find me on. But
what's your website? What's it called?
It's going to be, I think it's going to be Zack Saionz /forkit.com.
All right.
So
I like it.
We'll have that, and I'll send more notes I'll send it to you when that's finalized. I'll be sure to shoot that out.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't know, probably email is the best way to reach me now.
And how can they reach you via email?
So my email, I think it's zacksayons@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your name is spelled right here on my screen so everybody can see that.
No
so
period, just at Gmail.
There you go, zackscience@gmail.com. And you can find him. You also can luckily find Zack at Earth.University as well. We will be hosting his first course on Earth.University when it comes out in September. So be looking out for that. And we hope to keep posting this Fork It conversation every month. So if you're interested in getting your needs met in ways other than food and learning more about how you can change your outlook, look better at your reflection, build your knowledge, and find food that works, come and join Earth.University's Fork It conversation. We'll be sure to put it right here on Facebook Live. So thanks for being here, Zack. Super fun to have you.
And if I could just leave the audience with one more note.
Yeah, please.
If with anything that's going on when it comes to health, and it's just like anything, just be slow with it. Just be patient with it. It's the best advice I can give, because I can speak firsthand. The frustration's real. I mean, we can't ignore it. Don't worry. Everyone, it's a lot of, we all want to look a certain way, and I totally get that. I'm right there with that, but you can't allow that to dictate and control, take over what your real purpose is here, which is just create a healthy life that's going to allow you to just be you in an environment where there's a lot of people not being them, which is unfortunate. And so when you can be you and you can just be free and do the things that excite you and light you up, you're doing it correctly.
Love it. That's why Zack's a very close friend of Earth.University. We love you. So thanks so much for being here, honey. Have a wonderful afternoon. And for those of us who are watching now, awesome. If you watch later, awesome. Please leave some comments in the comment box and tell us what you'd like to have
reach out.
Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. So, all right. Talk to you later.
Thank you.